Yeah, I'm going to record because I'm going to share this on this site, and also on on Facebook, but also on YouTube. So again, this is Attorney Claudine Gasana. I'm wishing you a happy new year, and I have resumed. This is the first live video of 2022. I wanted to speak today about the H-1B visa, because H-1B season is coming up in March. And, I just wanted to touch base on, okay, what is H-1B? Who qualifies for H-1B? Who are the stakeholders? And what are the new changes? Before we go to the changes, what are the procedures and the processes? And what are the new changes? Because with everything else that's going on in immigration, H-1B also, there are new changes. So I wanted to touch on that, and I hope you guys will follow and learn from this. And if you need, or if you require additional information, or if you want to learn more about this, you can always reach us. You will see the information on how to reach our firm. You can always follow us on social media, on this YouTube. So please subscribe and like and share, so that this very, very useful information. By the way, it takes us time to kind of put together all this information. And as you can imagine, every day we get these alerts, these news alerts of what's going on, new changes. So we really put time into giving you this information. So if you like this information, or you know someone who may benefit from this information, please do not hesitate to share. Okay, so now I'm gonna share this with you. Okay, all right, so let's begin. So I hope this one is sharing right now. Here you go. Okay, so like I said, we are discussing H-1B season. What are the updates you need to know? This is our information. Feel free to contact us. The number, the email, we are available. Actually, our number is available 24/7. If you call, you will have somebody take a message, even if we are not able to get to you right away, but within 24 hours, we will get to you. Okay. H-1B updates. Okay. So what is H-1B visa? H-1B is the non-immigrant visa visas that are available to companies and individuals. So a company who's based in the US is able to file for a petition, to sponsor a petition for H-1B. So who is eligible? The person who is eligible is a foreign worker or a foreign national who has a specialized knowledge, or who has a bachelor's degree in or a higher degree in specialty occupation in the United States. Okay, let's keep going. So what is a specialty occupation? The specialty occupations include any field, such as architecture, engineering, mathematics, physical sciences, social sciences, medicine, health, education, law, accounting, theology. So basically any position. So if you have a bachelor's degree and then you are approached by a company, or you obtain a job offer, the US petitioner may file an H-1B visa for you, as long as you are being hired to work in the field of your study. So that's what the specialty occupation is. So for example, if I have a law degree, and I have a bachelor's degree, or I have an advanced degree as an attorney, even if I have a bachelor's degree, I cannot apply to work as an engineer. So H-1B visa will not be suitable for me, even if I have a bachelor's degree or a higher degree, because the position for which I'm being hired is not for lawyers, it's for engineering. So I will not qualify, even if the position it qualifies. Right. So how many visas are available per year? So that's why we say it's H-1B season. It is because there are only a number of visas per year that are available to H-1B beneficiaries. So there's a total number of 65,000 H-1B cap visas. That's a cap to 65,000. That's for anyone with a bachelor's degree. So now there's an additional 20,000 H-1B numbers or visas for those foreign nationals who have obtained a U.S. master's degree or U.S. higher education degree. Say hi to my son. So there's a total of 85,000 visas. So that's why there is a lottery. So to give you a perspective, in the last year, USCIS received 274,000 applications. We will talk about the registration in a minute. So among those 274,000, they have to choose 85,000. So you understand that's like really a lottery. It has also become a lottery, even if this visa was not intended to be a lottery. But now they have to go through a selection process or a lottery process. So who can sponsor H-1B visa? So as we touched on that earlier, an employer or a US-based company can apply or can sponsor H-1B on behalf of the employee they have hired. We talked about, we say they have hired, but it's not really hired. They intend to hire because yes, you could hire an individual, but if they don't obtain the visa, unfortunately, they won't be able to work for you. So H-1B, US employer, like it has to be a US established company. And, there are other requirements like a wage requirement and all that stuff. They have to be able to provide a wage, prevailing wage to that individual or employee. And also to USCIS sometimes requires that you show that the company that is intending to hire this foreign national has the work for the period. So when somebody, after we go through all this selection and you are selected, the initial period of employment is 3 years. So the US company is able to hire you if you are a foreign national with a specialty education or with a bachelor's degree, and you intend to work in a position that requires that specialty occupation skills, then you'll be eligible for the initial 3 years. And we will talk about who is exempt from this cap, this initial selection period when we in a minute. Okay, so what is the process? So I wanted to give you a background or a kind of a history of H-1B. So this process, this registration process we're about to talk about was not here before the Trump administration. So before it was first come, first served. So and let me also talk about what is the H-1B period. So they open up filing because you can only file with no later or no earlier than 6 months of the intended employment. And the fiscal year of starts in so I guess the fiscal, now we're in 2023. 22, so the fiscal year, let me go back. Okay, excuse me. The fiscal year starts in October. So that means if you wish to file for someone for the year of 2023, you would file you would file in 2022 on April. Like that's like the earliest, April 1st. But because there were limited visas each year, like I say, 65,000 plus 20,000 for, you know, those with a US master's degree. Everybody by April 1st, they had the petitions delivered, received by USCIS, just to be able to, because it was first served, first come, first served. That was the process, which it still is, but there was no registration process. So then when the Trump administration took office, they established a registration process that we're about to talk about right now. Okay, so before you can petition for someone, if you are a US employer, you must electronically submit a registration application for each employee or each potential employee or prospective employee, and pay $10 per registration for each beneficiary. Let's say you are a company, US company based here in Texas, and you intend to file 10 H-1Bs. You want to hire 10 foreign national under H-1B visa. You have to register, and there is a registration. In 2022, I was looking for the fiscal year 2022, the registration period began on March 9th and it ran through March 25th. So you had to register within this window. If you don't register within this window, then you're out of luck. So this is a new system. So, and I believe it's going to continue, although looking at the website, they have yet to update like the new, because I think the fiscal year now is gonna, well, the fiscal year it's gonna start in October. That it's going to be fiscal year 2023. Yeah, the fiscal year start in October, so it messes me up. So like they start counting 2023 before it's 2023. So that's why I'm just thinking, okay, the fiscal year 2023 is going to start in October. So I believe they haven't announced the registration period for H-1B registration this season or this fiscal year, or the 2023 fiscal year. But I also believe this registration process will remain, because according to the USCIS website, this process has been approved or has been well received by users. Like they'll say above 80% users have approved it. You know, it's not a bad, I guess, a process, because it helps to streamline. But in the beginning, there's like I was talking about earlier about this new system of hearing or appearing via web, like via a video or telephone. The switch to adjust to the system, it was really rough, and some of there were issues, but I believe now they have kind of mastered, or I hope they have revised and fixed the issues, because they were, in the beginning, you could not register an employer, or you could not even register more than one beneficiary, and like it was really a problem. It was problematic, but I hope now it has been fixed. But yes, if it's well done, it's a good process, it's a good system. Instead of finding paper, you can just register, and then once you register online, so the initial registration period is so you don't provide a lot of information. You just provide the company's information, you know, so you register the company first, and then under that company, you will register each potential employee or beneficiary. There's a basic information like names and, you know, the position and the degree obtained, and not the whole H-1B petition. So USCIS will first select registrations or registrants submitted on behalf of all the employees, including those eligible for advanced degree exemption. So and the USCIS may conduct multiple selections based on the filing rate after each selection. So this means like in the, I think last year or in last year they did USCIS USCIS conducted multiple 2 or 3 selections because, so let's say they conduct a selection after this deadline, they announce who has been selected. Like, okay, we have among 200,000 registrations, we have selected, let's say, I'm just giving a number, we have selected 30,000 or 50,000, and then they will notify those who have been selected. And those who have been selected have a timeline. They have a deadline to file the actual petitions, like the full package of H-1B petition, which is not. And then once they have filed, USCIS conclude the selection. But if among those who have been selected, some did not apply, some maybe, because unfortunately some companies, they just apply, like they try to, so let's say you have 2 employees, but you make like 4 or 5 registrations. It's not gonna work because it's per person. You cannot register one employee twice or 3 times or 4 times to kind of, wish one of them will be selected. No, if that's the case, if you took 4 spaces or 4 registration, you will lose your $10 registration fee. So, and if one of them is selected, yes, they will be selected, but those other 4 spots will be vacant. That's why USCIS may conduct another selection, because there was a law, they said there was a law, there's a law of filing rate among the selected. So they conducted a couple, 3 selections. So that means if you, within the deadline, you registered your potential employee, or if you are a foreign national, and your company or your prospective employer has registered you, has put you in for selection, don't be discouraged if in the first selection you are not selected, because there could be additional selections conducted by USCIS, depending on whether either those who were selected did file, or even if they filed, they did qualify. So that I guess that's a good thing, which I don't think before the selection period that wasn't a case. So before, they were just, okay, whoever files, they filed. There was only one chance of registering it, but this time, or selecting, I mean, there's one chance of registration, but there could be multiple chances of being selected, or having your candidacy selected. All right. Okay. So now, with this, like with this change of registration of applicants or company registration, and then the selection processes, there was a rule that was issued just before the Trump administration was out of the way, which was meant to, so it was meant to tweak, to change the selection process. So it was meant that, okay, in addition to just randomly select who filed or who submitted their application, USCIS was supposed to go selecting based on wages. Like whichever company was going to pay more money to the foreign national, then they will have more chances of being selected. That was the final rule of I guess, January 8th, 2021. That was before the Biden took office, literally. So, and then, yes, so this rule, there were 2 components. So this rule was requiring employers to register online in advance to be eligible, which is that, so we know. And then was also ranking the selected petitions based on highest to lowest wage level. So that was, as you can understand, was going to be harmful for small companies or small businesses. Like only, I guess, those big tech companies were to provide or to be able to be allowed to employ foreign nationals, and which, in reality, if you look at the statistics, most H-1B cap cases or go to this big company like Google and the app, I think it's Google, even Facebook and all those big tech companies. So, they already have the upper hand because they fire a lot of H-1B cases or, registration. They can afford they can afford attorney's fees and to file multiple cases for multiple people. And, I guess they also have the need, but then you have now really erased a path for smaller companies to file for H-1B cases if they're only going by the wages. As I touched on, one of the requirements for H-1B is that there is a prevailing wage. There is and the USCIS has this wage survey, for example, let's say an electronic engineer, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. So, typically when you file an initial H-1B petition, you don't have when you file an H-1B petition, you don't have, it's for an initial petition. Initial petition most of the time means a person who just came out of the university or the college. They probably level 1 or wage on level 1 wage, and you don't need to pay them level 3 wage. So with this rule requiring or I guess favoring those who are paying more wages or higher wages, will have been very, very harmful to most the average H-1B sponsor, and therefore most foreign nationals would not have been able to get jobs, because if a company can afford to pay you, can afford to match the wage of like a small company cannot afford to match the wage of a huge company, then they will say, okay, we would like to hire you, we need your skills, but we can't afford to sponsor your visa. So that rule, I'm glad it was over. It was withdrawn on December 22nd, 2021. So I guess that's good news. So that's basically it for H-1B visas. Again, the H-1B is for people who, or foreign nationals who have at least a bachelor's degree and who are being sponsored by a US employer to be employed in a position that requires the same skills, specialty occupation, like for which you have a degree. Or sometimes you don't have to have a bachelor's degree, so there's a way to do the equivalency experience equivalency. For example, if you have experience or you have like an associate degree plus experience, or you've worked for 12 years, there's a way to have an equivalency or to obtain to have those years of experience and the skills equivalent to a bachelor's degree. But that's like really the minimum. So the US employer is the petitioner. So the US employer, US entity, is the petitioner, is the sponsor, is responsible for this visa. They are responsible to provide a prevailing wage and to provide full-time employment. It could be also a part-time. So if you are, so I also talked about this H-1B season is for the initial petition. Let's say you've had a H-1B in the past and you need to change employers. So if you have already been counted under the cap, you were selected in the beginning and you have a H-1B and you worked, then if you need to change employers, you don't have to to be within this registration or selection process, the employer can fire at any time, or the change of employer could happen at any time. Or some of the U.S. entities, they are exempt from the H-1B cap. So those mainly, they are entities of higher education or even secondary education or research, or those entities affiliated to such entities of like nonprofit or research that conduct research, or the entities or U.S. companies affiliated to entities of higher education. So there is H-1B exempt. Also, there's one also an exam. The physicians who perform or who train under J1, their residency or fellowship, and they also they can obtain H-1B exempt, meaning if they have a petitioner, they can file for their visa at any time with no limitation on which period to file and how, if they fall under the cap, because if they will be employed in underserved areas, or to provide medical practice, or like medical like specialties in those areas. So so those are the updates of H-1B. I don't know if anybody had a questions. Nobody posed the questions, but I'm always happy to provide these updates. I know they may reach someone who needs to know, or like if you are you are on F1 visa, and there are different advanced issues on H-1B. Like if you have an F1 and then you are on OPT and your employer files for your H-1B and you are not selected, what happens? So those are those are like other advanced issues we can discuss if you wish, or maybe if the need arises. That's like the overview of H-1B, of the process. Again, no registration period has yet to be announced. I believe this system is going to continue. It's still on USCIS website. Any questions, you can reach to us. Always remember to subscribe and follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. So because we stay up to date with this new immigration news and rules and changes and updates, and we're happy to share with you. So I'm going to stop sharing right now, and I'm going to thank you again for those who watch right now, who are watching the live, and who will watch this video. Thank you, and continue to have a happy and blessed and prosperous new year of 2022. I wish this year is the best year yet, and all your goals lined up. It's work on achieving those goals, and God bless you all. Thank you. Bye. Okay, let me end the recording.